You also got to wonder if Sean Payton's going to be looking at which team has good draft picks. Because you know the Saints are going to want a first-round pick and more. Denver has a first-round pick, thanks to the trade with Bradley Chubb to Miami. Miami gave San Fran their first-round pick. Some people didn't agree with that. There's some real geniuses out there.
In the news, it seems as though Sean Payton might be coming back to coaching. The Broncos have reached out. Looks like they're looking to see what compensation would be. But let me get your thoughts. Which team do you consider to be the best option for Sean Payton currently?
Well, if you want offense, if you want to build offense, it can be the Broncos. If anybody knows offense that can bring some offensive stability out, it will be the Broncos. It can be the Broncos. I think they got all the talent at the offensive possession. They got Cortland Sutton, and they got Jerry Jeudy. If the running back stay healthy, they can be solid. But again, I think Sean Payton can come in and help that out. And Russell Wilson next year will really tell me if he's on the decline or not. They just had Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett is a terrible head coach. He should have never been a head coach. The only reason he kind of was there because he expected Aaron Rodgers was going to be there. And Aaron Rodgers ended up re-signing with the Green Bay Packers. So at the end of the day, I think Sean Payton will be solid for the Denver Broncos. I think the offensive weapons is there. The only thing you can kind of question is the offensive line. The offensive line is not that good, but I think the offensive weapons and pieces is there if they can stay on the football field.
Sounds good. Sora, let me ask you, looking at the NFL landscape right now and what teams would be available, what do you consider to be the best situation for Sean Payton?
I mean, you obviously have the Broncos with a very good defense. Russell Wilson has not looked good ever since he came back from injury. But if you're Sean Payton, you're pretty much thinking, I could fix this, man. You also got, the reports of Sean McVay potentially leaving after the season. So you got to look at the Rams. You got to look at if Stafford retires and looking at Baker Mayfield. I could fix Baker Mayfield. You're also looking at potentially the reports of the Browns coach, Kevin Stefanski or whatever. Stefanski, thank you. Whatever his last name is. He's 50-50 right now. So there's a lot of teams leaving. So you could look at, do I want to deal with Deshaun? Who knows? So you got a lot of teams. Right now it does look like Broncos are the number one target right now, but they're also the only team that's been able to interview him, and kind of exactly what Damian said, which I was about to get into. We all know Sean Payton said, I want Vic Fangio as my defensive coordinator. First of all, back up. He's ours. Don't touch him. Second of all, if you go to Denver, that eliminates Vic Fangio right off the bat. Because why would he want to go back to Denver?
Mm-hmm.
You also got to wonder if Sean Payton's going to be looking at which team has good draft picks. Because you know the Saints are going to want a first-round pick and more. Denver has a first-round pick, thanks to the trade with Bradley Chubb to Miami. Miami gave San Fran their first-round pick. Some people didn't agree with that. There's some real geniuses out there. I forgot where I was going with this. I had to get that burn in. So you have to get rid of that first-round pick and then some, leaving the Broncos with not a lot of draft picks. So Sean Payton really want to go there, especially with some of the holes in there that they could use that draft pick for. So it's pretty interesting. But right now the Broncos are leading, but that's also because they're the only team that's had a chance to interview him.
Yeah. Dante, let me ask you, when you're taking a look at the NFL landscape, what do you think is the best situation for Sean Payton?
I think it's one of those things is he's going to sit back and wait for these coaching jobs to be open, because I think Cliff Kingsbury is going after this week.
Yes.
Who knows what Brandon Staley's going to be with the Chargers if he loses another playoff game, because that would be interesting for him to go there, and he's already kind of alluded to that's kind of like a dream place for him to go. Let's see.
Don't get Vic started with Payton and Herbert.
The Panthers, who knows what's up with them and their coach right now? I know they want him to stay. I don't know if Josh McDaniels is going to be his first and last year up there. So, and then, of course, you got the Broncos that are sitting right there, too. Say what you want. The Texans, they have them.
Commanders.
Commanders. Yeah, I'm sorry. Love Ron Rivera as a person. Love him as a defensive coordinator. That dude is not a good head coach. Can we get it out of our brains here? I heard this morning on a show that the reason why the Panthers went to the Super Bowl was because of their defense. Did we all just forget all of a sudden that Cam Newton had the MVP that year and was almost an undefeated team going into the playoffs? Like, let's be real here, bro. Like, didn't they only lose one game? It was the last game they lost, right?
Yeah, it was the second to last game, I believe, against the Falcons. I remember that.
So it's like, come on, man. They were a 16 or 15-1 team going into the playoffs, and then went to the Super Bowl and crapped the bed against an inspired Broncos team. Like, and it was Peyton Manning's last year. That's hard to do. I think if they played any other team, they would have been fine. They probably would have won. But let's not forget, yes, Ron Rivera is a good a good defensive coordinator somewhere. Just like what's his name that was with the Jaguars a couple years ago.
Staley?
Brandon
Staley?
Not Brandon Staley. He was a defensive coordinator for the Raiders for a little bit. He was our head coach. White guy. Why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Bradley.
Not Gus Bradley.
Damn, I'm losing it then.
Him and Ron Rivera played at the same time. Not Doug Marrone. He played in the league too.
Oh, wait. You're talking about the
Jack Del Rio.
No.
Jack Del Rio.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
God, he was with Jack.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So Jack Del Rio was is almost the same exact version of Ron Rivera. Jack Del Rio had success with his teams though. But I think if you look at Ron Rivera's years as a head coach, he's only had 4 winning seasons, and one of them is when he went to the Super Bowl. Like, come on, it's like winning season and then win 5 games. Like, I mean, how great is his defenses are really? Like, it just is what it is. So, it is what it is, and I think Sean Payton is going to wait. If that Chargers job opens up, I think he goes to the Chargers. The Broncos are going head first, and it looks like they got all the ammo to go and get Sean Payton. So they look like they might be the ones to get Sean Payton, but the Commanders is an interesting spot because you got Sam. If Sam Howell ends up being turning up today, you got a promising quarterback. You got 3 damn good wide receivers, and you got a whole defensive front that you really don't have anything to do but just mold them a little bit more to be what you got, and them dudes are going to be there for a long time. So that probably is the best spot, to be honest, because they're probably the youngest team on paper. So I don't know. I think that's probably the best option for him outside of the Chargers. The Colts, I don't think he wants to be under Jim Irsay. I don't even think that's an option.
One team is still a dark horse, and I think it all depends on what happens in the playoffs. Is the Cowboys?
Yeah. I don't think they're getting rid of Mike McCarthy though.
No, they won't. Especially after how long it took for them to get rid of Jason Garrett.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy's there for at least another year. I mean, he's a Super Bowl winning coach too. People tend to forget about that. People think it's all Aaron Rodgers. Do I think he's really a good head coach? I mean, he's mediocre to me, but I don't think there's a difference between Lovie Smith and Mike McCarthy. You know what I'm saying?
That's right there.
Sorry, coach.
All right.
I'm all good over here.
Hey, Texans have a very good future ahead of them, especially with their draft pick and the potential of having Bryce Young. That can change everything around. You never know. Lovey's never really had a quarterback, so we'll see.